listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by.
On the morning shift.
Anything
could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
And good morning. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I'm AJ Walsh, and there I am as well. Thanks to all you for listening, for watching, listening on CKLU, 96.7 FM. And apparently if you have the Firefox browser, you can listen to us online as well at cklu.ca. If you download the Radio Player Canada app, there are some allegations that you could listen to us there as well. I don't think allegations is the correct terminology, but some people say you can. I was not able to get it going in the Sioux this weekend for my father. But anyways, so whoever is in charge of the technical aspects, CKLU, maybe you want to look into that. But you are technically supposed to listen to or be able to listen to CKLU anytime, anywhere on your favorite device by downloading the Radio Player Canada app. So thanks for joining us on CKLU, all things digital, all things radio, and for joining us live on Facebook.com/Sudbury News and YouTube.com/Sudbury News. Thank you for joining us, all of you that make our show the success that it is. Now I say that tongue in cheek, but we are growing, and it's really cool. And all of you make it possible to grow. You like and share the video, so continue to do that, so the word can get out there, and we can have a more robust community conversation here on this show. We are here to discuss the issues and the matters that are important to people who live in Sudbury and live abroad, who want to keep connected with this city and with what's going on. And so this is a way that we're able to accomplish that. Good morning, Facebook and YouTube monitors. Thank you for doing your job, and thanks for allowing our page to grow as it needs to be able to have everybody chiming in and a place to have a debate on issues as well, because not everybody agrees with each other, and that is, that's the way our world is, and that's kind of healthy in some regards. But someone who agrees with me constantly and never has a different point of view is with us here in the studio today, and it's Billy.
Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Oh, good. Now, I was being tongue-in-cheek when I said you agree with me all the time.
I felt that.
Yeah, exactly.
I felt it's kind of my duty to be the devil's advocate a lot of the time. So,
and you definitely are.
I'll take up the other side, but that's kind of how I am. I think I gravitate. Maybe we all have a bit of that in us.
Yeah. No, but definitely, and you do it in such a positive way as well. You do it very nicely.
It keeps the conversation going, right?
You respectfully disagree. Very polite and with a smile, and that's the way the world should be. We should all be able to have our own kind of point of view, opinions, and have a conversation and be educated through other people's education, right? You have things you've learned that I may not have learned.
I've come across things that I think I know.
Exactly. And by listening to other people, you can kind of say, oh, yeah, you know what? That doesn't really resonate, or that really resonates. And so that's the important thing about the show. And when it comes to local news and local issues, why not? Like, we have them on national platforms and national issues and things like that, or international. And here you have an opportunity to have a local conversation. So speaking of local and speaking of news, something we begin with every day, but it isn't all that newsworthy in some ways, but it is today, and that is the weather. And we'll be back with some weather and a little bit of a warning for you after this. right, so as you can see, we have a weather warning currently in the city of Greater Sudbury from Environment Canada. It's currently 18 degrees, which would mean normally a nice hot day. But here we are, 7:35, and it's already 18 degrees out there. And 90% humidity. So I was saying to Billy when we first came in the studio this morning that, wow, does it ever feel humid? And it does. So heat warning. Let's just see what Environment Canada has to say for today. And I think it's probably going to look just as the same as it did yesterday. Hot and humid conditions are expected to continue today. Temperatures reaching near 30 degrees Celsius with humidex values of near 36 are expected. Slightly cooler temperatures are expected on Wednesday, so tomorrow. A little bit of a relief from the hot, humid weather. Hot and humid air can also bring deteriorating air quality and can result in air quality health related index approaching the high risk category. The risks are greater for young children, pregnant women, older adults, people with chronic illness, and people working or exercising outdoors. So yeah, pay attention to effects of heat illness, which would be swelling, rash, cramps, fainting, heat exhaustion, heat stroke, and worsening of some health conditions. So if you already have health conditions, it could worsen them. So be aware today, be present, notice if you or anyone that you know or love have been affected in an adverse way from the weather, and make sure to keep hydrated, keep in cool places, and avoid being outside for long periods of time without protection, hats, water, clothing that protects you from the sun. So today, sunny this morning, then a mix of sun and cloud with 40% chance of showers late this afternoon. Risk of a thunderstorm. Yeah, sometimes with all this heat, you end up with a real doozy of a thunderstorm. Wind becoming west, 20 kilometers, gusting to 40 late this morning, then light this afternoon. High of 30, humidex, as we said earlier, 36, and the UV index, 8. Very high. Tonight, partly cloudy with 40% chance of showers and risk of thunderstorms, low of 19. And then Wednesday, as we said, be showers possibly in the morning, 40% chance of them. And then definitely they're calling for showers around noon and risk of a thunderstorm tomorrow as well in the morning and afternoon, and about 10 to 20 millimeters of rain. And the wind will be gusting up to 50 kilometers an hour. So a little bit of a long-range look. Again, those chances of showers, only 40%, but they're pretty confident it's going to happen tomorrow. And then Thursday, there's a 40% chance of showers as well. And then 60 on Friday. So it looks like we may get a little bit of the wet stuff after the heat, and that's kind of common for that kind of weather. So stay cool, everyone. We'll be back right after this with some headlines. All right, welcome back. And thanks again for being with us. Thanks for commenting and not being afraid to share your views, your point of view. And we welcome that. So I have my finger on the pulse here for comments today. And Aaron is saying, good morning, Sudbury News. Good morning, Aaron. I hope you're having a good morning as well. And yeah, so feel free to just kind of jump in anytime. Keep us accountable as well if we're kind of giving away false information, alternative facts, as some might say. So yeah, just keep us on our toes by chiming in and letting us know what you think, how you feel, and yeah. So here we go. Let's just show a screenshot of our Sudbury News Facebook page, because these are the things that we've been sharing that we want to cover. And then I want to go full screen with this guy, but he's not listening. There we go. All righty. First off, there's us, and here is Laurentian's top administrators should be fired, union leaders say. Oh my goodness. So that's my son-in-law just sending me a text. So I'll have to get to that as soon as Billy is
Could
chiming
be
in.
some kind
big
of tech
time.
support there saying, yeah.
Yeah, it could be. Who knows? I don't think so. I think everything's running
Hopefully.
smoothly this morning. But
Yeah, on that, Laurentian's top administrators should be fired, union leaders say.
Yeah. Have you already been checking that
This
out?
is from the Sudbury Star.
Sudbury Star, yeah.
Unfortunately, I looked at the headline and I felt like, okay, well, I think I've gleaned everything I need to know here.
Yeah, me
But
too.
just in case there's more to the story.
You opened up the article?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So I think he goes into the reasons why he thinks that.
Yeah, for sure. I hope he would in the
yeah.
article.
Yeah.
The union leader, that is, right?
There is, says our entire membership has lost confidence in these individuals.
Yep.
Said LUFA president
Mm-hmm.
Fabrice Collin. For them to continue would jeopardize the credibility of the institution. There needs to be consequences for usurping our collective agreement and collegial process. Did I say that right?
Yeah, I like how you said that.
Yeah. Well, that's
It was really good.
So I think that was the meat of the article there, if I may be so bold to.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, what do you say to that?
Yeah, I think I agree. I think a lot of people do. There needs to be some accountability when a university of that magnitude just up and goes bankrupt, and with a full-on board of directors, all the administrators, everyone from the top down, you have to ask yourself what led to the bankruptcy, and there must be some people that made wrong decisions. Because you don't want the university to end up bankrupt. So usually someone is accountable for that type of an outcome, right?
It's got to be figured out and gotten to the bottom of, and just make sure that, because that's the whole purpose, is so that these things don't happen again, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. Again, a lot of people, that's what they were asking for. Like, all of our comments are basically like, who's going to be found, Is there anybody going to lose their job over this kind of thing?
Yeah.
Or what is going to happen? Like, who's going to be the scapegoat at least? Or like, what are they going to do? But it doesn't seem like anything really.
And that's kind of the sad reality, is probably you do have scapegoats in these situations, because, it is very elusive tracking down, exactly. There's probably, it's a very shifting sand kind of thing.
Yeah. No, I know. It's something that's going to happen. It's got to happen to me. Like the union leader saying everyone lost their confidence. So he's just basically coming out and saying something that's, it's common sense. Like if you have the same exact administration, like some of the board of directors, a good chunk of them left. So I guess they were figuring that's the accountability, that they just resigned and now we have new board of directors. So that's maybe what they're feeling. The public might be satisfied.
You know what comes to mind whenever I think of these situations?
What?
I think it's in a movie back from the 80s, but the new guy comes in and he gets 2 letters, and he's like president, and the old guy who's showing him around says, when it goes down, when bad stuff goes down, you open this first letter.
Exactly.
And then, if bad stuff goes down, he opens the first letter and it says, blame me for everything.
Yes.
So he just goes on the press and then he mentions, when bad stuff goes down again, you open the second letter. So when time comes around and bad stuff comes around, he opens the second letter and it just says, write 2 letters. So you can kind of see how the system. It's probably not too exactly appropriate for this situation, but there's probably something to it.
Yeah, there was a movie with Jim Carrey and Alec Baldwin, and that's exactly what happened. He was the CEO, and he gave Jim Carrey a promotion, and he was all excited, and then that's when the company went bankrupt, and he was
Fun with Dick and Jane.
Yeah,
I think it was,
he was the spokesperson.
Right.
He had no idea what was going on. Totally hilarious. But
so if anybody in that institution gets a huge promotion suddenly, beware.
Yeah, exactly. So Yeah, so let's move on with some more of what we're covering here. And then Sudbury.com has a really good feature, as we talk about on the show quite often, the stories to get started in your day, and they really kind of unpack a lot of the main things. But here's a pretty meaty one here. New library CEO of Junction East to bring 21st century... New library CEO. This is what the story's about him. Junction East to bring 21st century library. Anyways, it's a kind of an odd thing to read on the fly because it is what it is. Greater Sudbury Public Library CEO Brian Harding said the Junction East Culture Club, that's the first cultural club, that's a cultural hub.
Cultural hub.
Yeah. That's the first time I've heard it worded like that, but I guess it's been out there.
Culture Club's pretty different.
Yeah, Culture Club is a band in the 80s with Boy George singing for them. But anyways, Culture Hub. Hey, we got a new nickname for it already. Which City Council recently greenlit, will be a vast improvement from their current 70-year-old main branch downtown and bring them in line with best practices to modern libraries. Yes, that's exactly what's going to do.
Moving into the future.
I think we're leapfrogging all the modern libraries. Exactly. We may have the record for the cost of the library itself, right? So just that alone might put us into another category altogether. So I'm sure he's excited. If I was the CEO of the library, I'd be excited too for a $100 million edifice. I don't know. Sure. Would you? Or
why wouldn't I be?
Yeah, like he's pretty excited. It's going to bring it into the 21st century. The old library is outdated.
Could be.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool if it was just like the coolest
space,
hip new thing in town, and like that's where
space
the
library.
Place to be.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of meets there.
Exactly. And just, hey, what are you reading today? I'm reading Shakespeare. What are you reading? Oh, I'm reading the latest whatever. Okay, let's stop talking now because we got to get back to reading. So not much socializing gonna go on there.
Well,
everybody's reading their books.
I'm kind of scanning for the 3D printer part. That was that was the part that excited me the most.
Yeah, because we had that video from the library, the maker's space.
Yeah.
And the reason why we need a new library is because the maker's space currently is kind of downstairs and no one knows where it is. And so that's why people aren't using it as much. But if it was in $100 million library, they'd put it right in the middle maybe.
Well, could be.
And everyone would come and see it and use it.
Yeah. I like the sound of that, makerspace.
Yeah. So what do? They monitor it? Like if you're making like your own gun with the 3D printer, like is someone going to go, oh, what the?
Well, they'll have some
you can't do that
reasonable, monitoring, I'm sure.
Okay, Jerome is weighing in here. Does our community believe any municipal or institutional leaders basically
at this point
are accountable? Is that what it is? Yeah.
And
do we believe in them? Yeah. Do you believe in any municipal leaders or community leaders at this point, Billy?
I sure do.
I knew you would say that.
Yeah.
Billy does believe.
Yeah. I think believe it or not, like there's probably a layer that we don't see. And there's actually two things that really, really kind of garner my respect. One is the fact that they don't turn like full Tyrion on people. You know Tyrion from Game of Thrones? There's one episode where, man, he unleashes.
Okay.
And he just tells exactly what he thinks of the common people.
Okay.
And it's right before his seeming execution.
Oh, okay.
But I think to be in public office and to be able to take the slings and arrows that are like hurled at them, I'm a pretty sensitive guy. If I get a weird look from somebody, I get
You're sensitive. You're like,
if I had 500 people
saying the hateful
writing
things
terrible things about me, it would be a day
I know.
Yeah.
You got to be a certain kind of
So
person.
you got to be that kind of person
to take it.
And then you still have to, in the end, want to do good for these people.
Yeah.
And not want to see them, all,
Exactly. I know.
You did this to yourselves.
I know. So, yeah, we're going to have a new library. The new CEO, or the CEO, is very excited, as he should be, for that. I wonder if he'll have season's tickets. Just walk across the street and go into the...
Well, I don't know. I'm thinking
Where's he
very
gonna-
Star Trek vibes about this 3D printer. I want.
I know. Oh, I know what they could do with the 3D printer. Make a parking structure for downtown. We'll be back right after this. No. Here, we got this is an interesting story and very sad, but very scratch your head at the same time. Noelville man dies trying to help neighbor attacked by his own dog. Wow. Like, neighbor sustains serious injuries after being attacked by their own pit bull type dog, while an elderly neighbor who tried to help suffered a medical emergency and passed away.
Yeah, that's really sad.
I know.
Wow.
That's just, I can just imagine the scene. Like, a person's dog is attacking them, and then your neighbor comes to your rescue to rescue from your own dog attacking you, and then he ends up passing away.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty horrific.
It doesn't say passing away from the dog particularly attacking him, but other medical emergency.
Yeah.
Maybe a heart attack. Well, we're going to get more into that later. We'll unpack that. That's one of the stories on
I don't know if we have many more
Sudbury.com.
details in that. Because I'm just kind of going through.
It's on the Good Morning Nickel City, Good Morning Start Your Day thing.
Yeah.
So it will unpack it a bit. So we'll come back to that one. Just because we can, because we know that they covered it. So we'll do that. Sudbury students excel in Ontario Music Festival competition, Billy. That should be near and dear to your heart.
That's awesome. I would expect so.
Music students from 45 festivals across the province filmed their performances and uploaded videos to YouTube for festival adjudications to review, with several of Sudbury's young vocalists and musicians taking top honors. We got a lot of good musicians in the city. Very cool. And I noticed you did the studio yesterday, Billy. I came down this morning. I said, something's different about the studio. I looked around and everything was very clean, very organized. And then I looked behind and I saw all of the drums set up and the everything set up. You did all that yourself?
No, I didn't. It was a major push by my girlfriend. Who?
Okay. Yeah. So Amanda.
So.
Was I?
A lot of times I get my, have to be motivated to do stuff.
Yeah,
I was feeling the motivation to do it. So.
Okay, yeah. Bless
her heart.
You were voluntold.
It feels really good that it's set up.
It does. But, I know. That's the good thing. I know a lot of times I need to be told too. And I actually ask my wife to tell me. I say, if you see something, just tell me. Because I used to get the whole thing of you should have known. Like I would get a vibe and I'm like wondering what's going on. Why am I getting the cold shoulder? And then eventually it would be, a little bit of a passive aggressive thing. And I'd be like, what's wrong? Well, you couldn't tell? I was like, no, I have no idea. I needed this done and you didn't do it or something. And I'll be like, I honestly didn't know. You just please tell me if you need something done.
Wow.
And from then on, I think we've done pretty good with that.
That's a good setup, good arrangement. Yeah.
And
that's kind of how this worked. It was, usually, like I say, need to be whispered at a few times and then let it turn into a bit of a shout.
Yes. A little louder,
but
escalation.
This was because this was building up in my mind for some time going, I got to do this.
Yeah. And
it's like, it's so daunting and I don't, have so many things I have to figure out But at the same time, sometimes you just got to do it.
No, but at the same time, I should have had something to do with that too, because it's just as much my responsibility than it is anyone else's.
I wouldn't say that.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I'm like seeing it and going, okay, we'll have to get a time to get together, but because our schedules are so off, and I come home in the evening, it's just like I become part of the chair You know,
I have to remind myself that a good plan today is better than the perfect plan tomorrow.
Exactly. So that's congratulations to those students. Winning top awards in the music festival. That's awesome. To Hamilton. This is interesting, and don't like to be talking about this too often, but it is in the news, and it did happen, and it does happen. So Sudbury police had a media release, said 2 Hamilton men arrested and charged for kidnapping Sudbury man. So, in the early morning hours of Saturday past, 51-year-old man attended Greater Sudbury Police Service headquarters to report that he had been kidnapped by 2 men on July 7th, 2022. Again, I think this sounds familiar. Odd.
Mm-hmm.
Kidnapped. The men drove him to a location in Hamilton where he was kept against his will for a duration of several days. The men recently brought him back to his residence, upon which they displayed firearms and held him against his will for another period of time. Throughout the investigation, officers were able to identify the vehicle associated in this matter and be able to arrest the men. Wow. So, 18-year-old Austin Miller of Hamilton and 18-year-old Dusan Manolovich of Hamilton were charged with the following offenses: kidnapping, pointing a firearm, uttering threats to cause death or bodily harm, and proceeds of crime over $5,000. So anyone with information are asked to contact police if you know anything about these particular gentlemen. Let's call them, because maybe they feel sorry now and they've repented of their deeds.
All these stories, they conjure up, like you say, images, imaginations, you sort of try to form little pictures. But I realize that whatever I form is probably
not right.
So far from...
Yeah.
Because you've seen those situations where like there's a media story and you've got the kind of like the inside scoop on that, and you just kind of look at it and you're just kind of like, oh, it's like so off the mark.
I know.
And it's not the media's fault.
No.
It's like, it's again, if we both saw the same incident and we both wrote it down, exactly what we saw.
Exactly.
We would have 2 very different stories of what we saw. It's like,
that's true. Yours would be more positive than mine.
It probably would have a little more sunshine and rainbows.
Exactly. Okay, well, as we promised, we're going to talk a little bit more about the incident in Noelville, where unfortunately there was a man who passed away trying to help a neighbor who's being attacked by his own dog. Noelville man dies trying to help his neighbor attacked by his own dog. An elderly man is dead, and his neighbor is in hospital after a dog attack in Noelville, July 14th, just after 12 p.m. OPP officers received a call for service from a resident on St. David Street in Noelville. The OPP said the owner of a mixed breed dog was attacked by his own animal, suffering such serious injuries. The person had to be airlifted to hospital in an orange helicopter. When asked for more information by Sudbury.com, OPP Constable Rob Lewis said the dog was a pit bull type dog. The story took a tragic turn after the dog's owner's elderly neighbor witnessed the attack. The man rushed to his neighbor's aid, but suffered a medical emergency while trying to help and passed away. OPP said the dog has been seized by the municipality of French River's Animal Control Department. The investigation is ongoing with the assistance of the Nipissing West Crime Unit. So am I getting this right? So the neighbor witnessed the dog attack and had a heart attack, and then the neighbor who was attacked by his dog went to his aid and it was too late, kind of thing?
Well, I got the impression from another story, I think, that he tried to intervene and passed away.
Yeah, but this one makes it seem like he didn't.
Oh, no, he said, but suffered a medical emergency while trying to help and passed away.
Okay, said the owner of the mixed breed dog was attacked by his own animal, suffering such serious injuries. The person had to be airlifted by helicopter. So this is the guy being attacked by his own dog, had to be airlifted. But before that, so the OPP...
The man rushed to his neighbor's aid, but suffered a medical emergency while trying to help and passed away.
Yeah, the story took a tragic turn after the dog's owner's elderly neighbor witnessed the attack. Witnessed it.
He witnessed, and
the
then
man
after
rushed,
he witnessed it, he rushed to his neighbor's aid.
Oh, okay. And then suffered a medical emergency while trying to help. Okay. Yeah, there you go. So we do have it right. We do have it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was even weirder than that, where the guy was being attacked by his dog and the neighbor was watching it, and the neighbor saw the other guy kind of drop. And then the guy who was being attacked by the dog had to run to his neighbor.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be even weirder. But no, this one makes way more sense.
That's way more sensical.
Yeah, exactly. Well, unfortunately, that's our thoughts and prayers go out to the man who passed away and the one who was attacked by his own dog. I mean, that's not something you have every day that happens. So thoughts and prayers to the family and friends of those individuals. Aaron is saying the dog description of a pit bull-like dog. I think pit bulls have a bad rap, almost like sharks do in media and things. Yeah, pit bulls already have a bad name.
Yeah. On top of that, it's just a pit bull-like type dog.
I know.
So
what does that even mean? You know,
is it a pit bull or is it?
Is the officer
resemble
a
one.
trained dog analyzer? Does he know like what breeds of dogs? You know, but it is, again, we see how media and just saying something could actually lead to other things. Now there might be a big movement to get rid of pit bulls again, like there was in recent memory, right? So yeah, you have to watch things like that. Thanks for pointing that out, Aaron. Definitely. We need to be watch dogs, speaking of dogs, for things like that. So here's a little bit more information on the kidnapping we just talked about. Maybe there's some more information here. So the man enters the police station, and they brought him down to Hamilton, brought him back, held him against his will with firearms, and they knew the vehicle, so they had the two suspects positively identified. They arrested them without incident, brought them to police headquarters, and now they're facing those charges. So we basically went through the whole story. There's no other information here that we left out. And here's the Junction East Library.
Doesn't that look impressive? 21st century library.
Yeah, I think they should get a neon sign on it that kind of flashes 21st century.
They need whoever did the poster for Blade Runner to do the promo stuff for this.
That's right. They probably got it. 21st century library. Come on down, witness it, read all the latest books. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
You know, got
books are good.
Like a monster truck commercial for it.
Yeah.
A tour of the Greater Sudbury Library Systems main branch on Mackenzie Street reveals a functional library with constraints befitting a building designed in the 1950s. The building, after all, was built 70 years ago to accommodate library use of the day, which has changed drastically since then to become much more a place to find books. So described Greater Sudbury Public Library CEO Brian Harding during a recent walkthrough of the downtown library, which feeds the city's 13 library system. Quote, he says, "It's showing its age. Although they routinely receive positive feedback on its appearance. People come in and go, hey,
it's a good looking building.
This looks really cool. Well, did you know it's 70 years old?
They take care of their building there.
That's right. They do a good job. But it is 70 years old. So even though it appears to look good, it might call to question the need for a new facility in some people's eyes.
Yeah.
In some people's eyes. I wonder if you took a vote of the amount of eyes that would be called to question in Sudbury, how many people's eyes that would be called to question in, what the stats would be. And I bet you Sudbury.com is going to do a poll on it if they didn't already do it.
You think they did it?
They might have.
I don't know.
We'll have to check into it. But yeah, he says in some people's eyes. It's questioned why we needed a new library when the other one looks so darn good and people are saying, wow, this library rocks.
You know, maybe the future of library is going to get a whole rebrand, you know? Maybe it's going to be the future's place to go. Because, I mean, that's a big complaint with our generation these days is there's really not a lot of public gathering spaces. You know, like if you go to a bar, you have to drink or spend money there.
Yeah, if you go to a hockey game, you actually have to sit and watch it.
And you know, what if you want to socialize? And
that's right. You can't sit beside someone and
playing
talk.
Music and
that's right.
Yapping over the PA system.
Playing it too loud sometimes too.
Sometimes. Yeah, it's very annoying.
Just so everyone knows, Billy is the guy playing the music. So now. But you're doing a good job though to really kind of moderate it so it's not too loud. And you've asked me a few times when I've gone to the game. You said, "How loud is the music? You know, is it?" Okay?
It's a long process getting everything even. You know, it's,
for sure. But you're right. So if you want to socialize and you want to go downtown, you want to gather, you know, a hockey game, even maybe not the most. You can only talk to the people in your direct beside you too. Mm-hmm. It's not like there's you can get together in a group or anything like you could in a library.
Yeah. Maybe, get together, board games. I don't know. People playing board games these days. I think there's a bit of a revival in that.
Yeah. And Miles does point out the point that I was going to make is that they're saying the same thing about the library that you can make an argument about the arena. Built the exact same year. Same thing. It's outdated. But people, look, watch this, but I bet you people are not in the Sudbury Arena going, hey, this looks great. Like they are saying about the library. They're going, holy man, this really needs a revamp.
Yeah.
You know,
is that pretty universal downtown? I mean, in Sudbury, that
it is.
You know, we need a new arena somewhere, right?
All you have to do is go to one other arena just once. Any other arena, any other OHL arena, any other one, once, and you'll walk back into the Sudbury Arena and go, well, why? What? Like even our screen, you can't even see it. The screen that's over the ice that you watch, the Jumbotron, so-called, you can't even see it. Like you have to get the right angle to get in, and when they play a replay or something, or why even advertise on the thing? It's so it's hard to see. It's not HD. Every other arena has like a big HD screen.
Real Jumbotron, yeah.
Real Jumbotrons, yeah. And they have the advertising that goes around the arena, like the screens and everything that goes around. A lot of them have upper decks and things like that. Just all kinds of things that our arena doesn't have. But anyways, so this library, which will be built instead of the Sudbury Arena and built in the only parking lot for the Sudbury Arena, he said it's showing its age. Although people routinely receive positive feedback on its appearance, there might be some people who question the need for a new facility in some people's eyes. It's often from people accustomed to the current library system. There's much greater library potential in the Junction East Cultural Hub, he said. A $98.5 million downtown building City Council approved for construction next to the Sudbury Theatre Centre and next to the same aged and old and outdated arena. In addition to accommodating a new main library branch, the project is to include accommodations for a new art gallery of Sudbury and the Sudbury Multicultural and Folks Arts Association.
Okay, so they're moving the art gallery to that building too.
They are.
Okay.
And Pierre said maybe the art gallery gets 20 people a day,
yeah,
currently in its current place, And he said that possibly it would get 200 people a day
I can see that.
downtown, whereas Sudbury Wolves game would get approximately at the least 2,500 people.
Mm-hmm. Well, you see, by bringing these all together, if that arena, say, got revamped, I can see some vision there where you want to bring all of these beautiful new buildings together and start, that's how you kind of maybe grow a cross-cultural downtown.
Yeah, could do that. You just need a place to park now.
Place to park. He had some interesting parking stuff he was talking about yesterday too, right?
Yeah, for sure, yes.
That private enterprise that was all set to do it, but they needed to be guaranteed that the arena was going to be downtown. So perhaps if there is some kind of assurance that there is going to be an arena downtown,
then these
maybe
parking
them
structures,
or someone like them will...
they're like, hey, let's
back.
build it in the place where... Oh, wait, there's a new library there. We can't build it after all.
Yeah.
Maybe we can
build it. Was that the
it.
spot they were going to build it?
Well, I believe so. That's where a big one-layer parking lot is right now. You would then just build right there and just build up, and you'd have the same parking spot you had before, plus 3 or 4 or 5 other layers. But no, that's not where they're planning on building it. They were going to do this kind of private municipal partnership where they have the first level of stores, so that way they can have revenue, so commercial or something like that, and then above it would be parking. So, make money all different kinds of ways. Something like the Sudbury Library is not thinking of doing. They're just thinking of tax money paying for everything and really no revenue coming in, really. Very limited revenue coming in. But
well, libraries aren't designed to create
make
revenue.
money.
They're like
not.
A public service.
They're a public service, exactly. But a lot of people would say we have no need for a new one because the other one works perfectly fine. Now, mind you, there are some people saying the arena, like my father-in-law would say, the arena is perfectly fine too. It's kind of, nostalgic, and why wouldn't you just keep it up and, keep it the same? But I think there's a lot less people about that on the arena side than there are on the library side. I think more people are saying we're fine with our libraries, we need a new arena, than there are people saying we're fine with our arena and we need a new library. Mm-hmm. I'm positive on that. I'll put my neck way out there with that kind of prediction of how Sudburyans feel.
Mm-hmm. I think both are going to happen.
Do you think we're going to get a new library and a new arena?
I think so.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's some vision, and I can't remember who commented on that, but they mentioned something that seemed to make a lot of sense, is that, there is a lot of vision sort of behind the scenes that we're not actually seeing. It doesn't all translate into
that's true.
public, which is something to be looked at too. Maybe there needs to be some more of a PR campaign to get these ideas out, or is it kind of like on a personal note, how similar, like if you have an idea to do something and you kind of tell everybody, and then all of a sudden, like the critics come at you full force, it kind of kills that energy for it, right? So you just almost, it's a fine line to do that with, in a public setting, but
Now, a couple of comments too is Monique believes we don't really need a new library, so she's.
Mm-hmm.
Or wait, I don't believe we need a new library. Pretty direct comment there. And then Miles was saying we do need some evaluation of the library system, possibly.
Yeah.
Maybe that would be interesting.
And I saw an article that said we should, it was an opinion piece, and it was about we should bring Bruce Mao, invite him back to, kind of make a overview kind of call, get his opinion on things, which, brilliant idea.
And we talked about that because Pierre was taught, he came to his university when he was in architecture school.
Right.
And was a speaker, and he followed him ever since that.
Yeah.
Because he's
I
Sudbury.
did sound for that, and I followed him ever since
Exactly, yeah. So that was the idea. And we have someone who is born and bred Sudbury and is world-renowned for his design. And why wouldn't we kind of collaborate with someone like that? Because I think he would want to have a legacy to leave his hometown. You know what I mean? The fact that he could design something that
I think so.
Amazing.
And I think he comes across as being incredibly real. Like he's not, I don't think he speaks politically, you know, he's just like, he is, I think, very much kind of like what you see is what you get. And he doesn't, you know, he's going to tell you how he sees it.
Yeah, for sure. And Pierre, speaking of Pierre, he's chiming in right now, actually.
All right. Hey, Pierre.
Saying good morning. So yeah, we're talking about you, Pierre. So
good job yesterday.
Oh, he got a comment saying best guest ever.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
when he was on. Because he knows so much about what we're talking about, like what's going on right now with the city. Mm-hmm. He's definitely, you know. And then Adam is saying Sudbury City Council, and then he's not up on my thing here. So Sudbury City councillors are failing the town, basically. Yeah. Which I think is a sentiment from a lot of people, and there is an election coming up in October, and you do have your opportunity to cast your vote, and hopefully they'll get some people with a lot of vision. The only thing is, councillors are one thing with vision, mayor is one thing with vision. With Pierre talked about yesterday, get a good mayor with vision for the city and really kind of, you know, do something. But the only problem is are the administration that stays. Their jobs are like forever jobs, and they're the ones that continue to stay in city jobs, and they're the ones that really kind of move and shake. They make the plans and present them to council and things like that. And there's an issue there as well. So it's not just those elected officials kind of thing. So
yeah, I've heard that quite a bit over the years, that the mayor has surprisingly little power, right?
Yeah.
It's just one vote kind of thing.
Exactly. So, well, the $98.5 million downtown building will house the art gallery and the Sudbury Multicultural and Folk Arts Associations. The library will make up much of the building's 104,000 square feet of total space, including much of the building's first floor and all of the second and third floor of the 4-story building, reflecting on the proposed building's blueprints. In the main branch's basement boardroom, Harding told Sudbury.com the new building will blow the existing facility out of the water.
Yeah.
Again, what is that, Captain Obvious there? The commercial? Like, that's pretty darn obvious if you have $100 million building compared to a building that was built in the 1950s.
That is a lot of money.
70 years ago. You know, it will blow it out of the water for sure. And it'll blow our taxes out of the water too. Yes, that's what it will do. So hopefully we get down there and look at the art, because if you don't get the use out of it and look at the art and have new offices for the art associations in town. Look, are you in favor of the arts, Billy?
Yeah, I like the arts, but
Yeah.
I kind of like this idea of, it was proposed, you know, if people paid in advance for things, like if we didn't have the system where they spend the money and then they say, okay, cough it up. It's kind of like, all right, we want this new building. It's going to cost $100 million. So everybody
got to chip in.
Here's your share. And if we get enough people to sign on, and then basically you get a bill for like $1,800 or something like that.
Yep.
And if people are like, I don't know if I want to send in $1,800.
Yeah, we won't raise your taxes. Everyone will just get the bill, and we all have to pay it.
You pay it in advance, and then we'll build the building. It's
like, as soon as we got everyone's money, then we'll build the building. Wow, that's a great idea, Billy. You're onto something here, I think. Wait a minute, that's the way things used to be. They are in the States, anyways, or have been, and that's the whole idea of the toll road. The toll road is you pay to get on that road, and all the money that you paid goes towards that road. Very simple. Done. It's not like, well, we'll spend this money and and hopefully it's, and you have no idea where it's going or who's paying for it or who's doing the work. It's accountable to itself. If it doesn't make the money, the road can't exist. It doesn't get any other money from anyone else. It's so totally self-sufficient by who? The people that drive on it. Wow. So what about the people who go to the library? Are they going to pay it? What if someone never goes to... That's why... Okay. universal health care. That is a very controversial subject. It's open for debate. A lot of people just right off the hop says it's totally needed. There's a big movement in the United States right now to get universal health care. And they point to Canada going, look at Canada has it. But if you look at the downside to universal health care, there's many downsides. I'll just say one thing right now. Do you have a doctor? Do you have a doctor right now? Oh, that's a downside to universal health care. Do you know in the United States, all doctors are in competition with each other? They actually have to advertise for you and they want to keep you. It's like a business. They have to say, hey, use me. I'm really good. I'm a great doctor. And they're not waiting to get a doctor down there at all. Doctors are happy to take on new patients. And there's a lot of doctors. So their system is not broke, but they're trying to make it sound like it is. And they're pointing to a broken system, which is in Canada. When was the last time you went to our hospital here and tried to park? That's broken. Or try to get a bed. When my dad was there, he had to get a bed in the hallway for I don't know how long. There's a lot of things that are broken about our medical system here, and that's because of the way it's done. It's just your tax money goes into a big kitty, and then it's just taken out, and you don't see where it goes. It's like when you go and give blood. Do you know how much they're selling your blood for on the open market? No, you don't. You get juice in a cookie. If you go to the United States, you get $75 American. That's like $1,000 Canadian. So yeah,
Let me get my calculator.
Sorry, that's just being exaggerating. But there is some, speaking of possibly, Sudbury Wolves, we were talking about the arena. The Sudbury Wolves are going to get a new broadcaster in the way of David Bowen. He's the iconic Joe Bowen's son who does the play-by-play. Started off with the Sudbury Wolves, but now he's the iconic Toronto broadcaster. You'll know him by when he calls the games, he's Holy Mackinac. So he's coined that phrase. That's how he's known, Holy Mackinac.
Why Mackinac? Is he from there?
Well, he got it from his dad. And I think there was a saying here in Northern Ontario a long time ago where people would say Holy Mackinac. It came from Mackinac Island, I think. And I know my stepfather would say it as well.
Wow. And
that was in the Sioux at the time. And Joe was here in Sudbury. So I don't really think it was because he was listening to Sudbury Wolves games. I just think it was some people said it. And so he carried that on in his broadcasting life. And now that's the way he calls games. When something is bigger than life. Holy Mackinac!
It's phonetically great.
It's very cool. Sudbury Wolves alumni, David Bowen, is following in his father's footsteps, celebrated Canadian sportscaster known as the voice of the Canadian Maple Leafs. David Bowen, who played for the Sudbury Wolves between 2018-19, 2019-20, will provide play-by-play for broadcasts on the Sudbury Wolves games on CKLU 96.7 FM, this very radio station, for the upcoming season. His dad, Joe Bowen, also did play-by-play for the Wolves games on the radio at one point in his career. I'm beyond blessed and grateful for the opportunity to join the Sudbury Wolves broadcast team on 96.7, said Bowen. In a press release, I'm looking forward to being part of the Wolves family again and making the most of a dream opportunity and can't wait to get started. Yeah. So he'll be joining the broadcast and we'll make sure that it's on the air. And I do technical stuff to make sure that they're, on the air for right here from home base.
You do it.
Yeah. Remember I had to monitor the games, make sure they're on.
That's right.
And stuff. So I used to do a little bit of color commentary, but yeah, and I wasn't very good at it, but everyone would say, oh, you did a good job. And I was like, yeah, you're just saying that because you couldn't find anyone else. But no, I enjoyed doing it. Doesn't mean that it was, good or anything. Let's see. Jerome says we focus only on, allopathic methods. That's the problem. Mm-hmm. How it's universal. Yeah, that's true. Of the medical system. Yeah, if we go back to the whole medical system thing.
And the medical system seems to have kind of morphed, like the medical industry seems to have kind of taken over the medical system. There's a
kind of eating itself?
kind of eating itself, but I think it's sort of hard to separate the system from the industry. And I think when you have an industry running something, it gets very bottom line orientated.
Yeah.
And bottom line is not always equated with public health.
No, exactly. And we'll leave with a really light story here. So Miles says, I don't have it up here yet, so everyone can read it, about Nova Scotia. Oh, yeah, he was also, the Canadians farm team in Nova Scotia broadcaster for years. I did interview Joe Bowen just before the pandemic. It was a great interview. I still have it, and maybe I'll play it one day. He talked about that, and he talked about being in Sudbury, and he talked about, because he was born and raised in Coniston, and played hockey here. He was a goalie himself, and really cool stuff. So, yeah, congratulations, David, being part of the broadcast team here. Looking forward to working with you. The last story we're going to leave with, and it's a meaty one, but we only have a minute, so I don't even know how we're going to do that. There was a protest in Sudbury, Roe versus Wade, overturned in the United States. Several dozen protesters opposing the overturning of Roe versus Wade case dealing with abortion in the United States marched along Paris Street on Sunday. Last month, the Supreme Court in the U.S. ended constitutional protections for abortion that had been in place for nearly 50 years. In a decision by its conservative majority to overrun Roe versus Wade, the Canadian Press reported, the outcome is expected to lead to abortion bans in roughly half the states. One of the organizers of the Sudbury rally said the protest was held to show solidarity with the people of America affected by the overturning of Roe versus Wade. Asked why the issue is important here in Canada, where abortion can still be accessed, she said, not a huge stretch, that people here could soon face the same issues. I don't really share that same point of view, that we'll face it here. But that I guess people who are proponents for it will have to make sure that they do all they can. But she said the overturning of Roe versus Wade means that if you live in the U.S. and have a uterus, whether you're cisgender woman, trans, or non-binary, your opinion on what happens to your body doesn't matter. There you go. So maybe we'll talk more about that tomorrow, because we can't just say that and leave it, But it is what it is. I
guess we'll have to today.
We're going to have to today. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Ending on a huge topic. I know we probably have all kinds of people chiming in for that. And we'll get James's last comment in here so we don't avoid it, about pharmaceutical industry and the medical, just talking about it just like Billy was saying. So,
yeah. The guy over here,
Billy. And ending with that, thanks for joining us. Stay tuned now for Earshot Daily on CKLU. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow, and you'll be back Thursday, right, Billy?
Thursday, yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Me too.
Thanks, everyone. See you then. Ciao.
This is Sudbury News Talk.